Happy New Year.
Okay, hey, happy New Year. Here we are, 2025. I survived.
2025. You,
I survived.
you survived. We need to survive 2025. Can you believe it, Gee?
No, I cannot. No, I cannot.
It's
You have to
crazy.
get started.
It's crazy.
And here
Sorry,
we are, going back
shaking
to
my
the
camera,
end.
shaking my table.
Okay.
Okay, Gigi. I mean, it feels like the games were 2 weeks away because of the holiday, and they played them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and it got crazy. And then we had like one game yesterday. I didn't know what to do with myself, and it came on at like 8 a.m. I didn't even catch it. I said, what do I do on Saturday? There's no football. It was wild.
Don't talk about it. I'm going to withdrawals. I got football
Right.
withdrawal.
Right. And I'm like, how do we get here, man? How do we get here? I almost feel like I need to make a montage of our season. I remember when it began. All right, we ain't over yet though. Let's not get too sentimental.
Week 0. Okay, we know there's a little bit more to play.
Yeah, we got a few more games, so we'll wait for our end of the year wrap up, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
first things first,
We ain't wrapped up yet.
Saturday Hangover we got our first copyright infringement. So our show last week.
Can't you just say technical difficulties?
Well, here's why I want to bring it up, and I find it very interesting. So
Yours is so simple.
you always play a game behind you. We're not talking about that game specifically. We're not using that content to necessarily like make our content. We have our own content. We have our own brains. What I find interesting is we get this infringement for whoever's channel that game was on, but he stole it from ESPN.
No, that was
Fox, ABC, whatever. He didn't create the game. It was the Ohio State Tennessee game. He didn't create that game. So now I feel like I'm gonna go report his video. We should have just been part of Fox. Yeah. No, he wasn't Fox though. That's not who it came from.
That is. It was BTN. I'm sorry.
I sent you the infringement. It didn't say Fox. It said whoever put it up. So he stole the video. We used the video behind as a background, and then we get the infringement. But maybe we should have gave him a shout out. I don't know. We're new to YouTube. I don't know the rules, but I just want to let people know we didn't let him down last week. We taped an amazing show, best show we ever did in our lives, and the man took it down. So, but that's okay, because guess what? We back. You know, we still here.
We got more.
We still got more. So I thought about whoa, you okay?
Yeah.
I thought you almost fell out your chair there. You look like
there have been days.
You've been acting up. You've been acting up since you've been. I'm not gonna hold to the people. I'm not gonna let the people worry about it. But anyway, so I think let's talk non-playoff bowl games that we watched. I know there was very few. I didn't catch them all. I will tell you the one I caught, and I was highly disappointed. And I feel like I say this every other week or every week, but it's like some of it I don't understand. Some of it makes sense. A blowout is unmatched. Teams just not whatever the case. We lose people.
Right.
We know we've been talking about that. Alabama, Michigan.
I don't know. I don't know what happened to that game. I started watching a little bit of it, and I got busy.
Now, Alabama, outside of how the 12 playoff team was seeded, Alabama ended the season ranked number 11. Michigan ended this regular season unranked. Now, again, we know Vandy. We know Oklahoma. We know it does not mean anything. But we've seen Michigan play. And I know Ohio State and Michigan game. I was there. Trust me. I'm a fan. Trust me. I get it. But this ain't no rivalry. And Bama, you've seen these people before. What in the heck? Michigan didn't look amazing. Now, Michigan has always, what they always have. We talked about that too, right? They always have the defense. But it's just like Bama looked flat again. You
know, we talked about it, and I always say when things they go over the summer and then we start a new season, I'm telling you, something's going to come out of this because I don't think that's the Jalen Miller aside. Because I asked you, how does a young man who was a candidate last year for the Heisman, I don't know if he was 8th or 9th or whatever, he was still in there.
He was 6th.
How do you go to this to a quarterback that's brilliant one game and plays like he knows nothing the second game? Well, I just don't understand it. And the thing of it is, and I keep saying, that kind of stuff starts from the top down.
Mm.
It started with the coach, and I won't name any names. You're playing brilliantly. You tell me not to compare, and I try not to. You're playing brilliant. Nick Saban. New coach comes in, you don't know what you're doing. New rules, new plays.
I don't know. It's very weird, and
My way or the highway. I don't know.
When we talked, me and you, we said it. Remember, he even started. It was his first year starting, and he wasn't named the QB1 under Saban. And they went back and forth for the first few games, and then they said, "This is our guy." Saban said it. They changed some plays to work with the style he works in, and they took off. Now they ended up going to the playoffs. Again, they were beat by Michigan. Started the year beat by Michigan. Ended the year beat by Michigan. But the game was played a great game. Played a great game, right? And they were a rocky Alabama last year under Saban. So let's not pretend. But it's just very weird. So the other problem is he did declare for the NFL draft.
Okay. Yes, you told me that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did declare. So I mean, yeah, people have to make the best decision for them. I wish he could have went off on a better year. I wish it would have been behooved him maybe to come back a year, maybe transfer. It's worked for a lot of people. Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix last year. It worked for a lot of people. So, yeah, Kyle McCord. It just sometimes it's just different. So I just didn't understand it. The first quarter was 0-16, and I was half watching it, and they didn't blow Bama away, but it felt like Michigan controlled the whole game, and I just didn't understand it.
I couldn't even get into it. I just couldn't. I had that was on a Tuesday. I just don't know, and like I said, we can speculate all we want, but I think next year we'll see some changes, and it might be before all thing is over. Jalen Miller might
change it, but Bill Rowe won't be there. What do you mean changes?
What is he? I thought he was
I just didn't see him for the NFL draft.
Oh, you know what?
Too busy talking. I'm listening.
Why do he had another year?
He might. He had another year. He didn't have to, though. He didn't have to stay. I think he had to play 2 years or something like that. And he might have been the backup before. I can't remember. But other games, I think you caught the Iowa-Missouri game. And I love Brady Cook, and I did not watch it. I have to go back and watch the playback.
Kelly, it was a good game. It ended up 27-24. And you know what? I can't remember that game either. But I did write down some notes. But the thing of it was, I didn't know who Iowa's quarterback was. This guy came out. Wasn't Cade McNamara the quarterback for Iowa? It said he got benched. And then Jackson Stratton came out. He got hurt. And then
okay.
And I thought, who is this guy?
Okay.
But it didn't matter. Brady Cook came out. Played his game.
Brady Cook is so freaking tough.
You remember that game where he went to the hospital?
You remember that game he went to the hospital and came back? He's so tough.
Hey, they mentioned that. And this, you know how they add little bits of stuff. And you remember that game where he got hurt and he went to the hospital. It was across the street in a pickup truck. Oh, come on. Went to the hospital in a pickup truck. In the back of a pickup truck.
So extra. I gotta watch the playback. I did catch a few playbacks, from like the games before. So they still just as good and exciting. And then when you ain't got no football in between, it's really helpful.
Hey, it
I
does.
Yeah, I also started to watch Duke Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin has been very opinionated on the round one of the playoffs. Everybody's been countering his, um I guess I could call them negative comments. You know what I mean? He was saying, some of
Yeah.
these teams didn't deserve to be on the field. He thought Ole Miss should have been in there, even though they had 3 losses. And I said, then every 3-loss team would have to get in. So I was hoping that Duke would put up a better fight, and they didn't. I didn't watch it. I mean, after first quarter, or I think it was even second quarter, I said I can't. And we all know that the quarterback for Duke transferred, so
Yeah.
that came up in the conversation, of course, with the
Of
announcer. So
course.
let me
And I
let you
didn't
go.
even write down who the
You
guy
go
was. I didn't even know. But now that you mentioned that Duke game, of course it ended up 52-20.
ahead.
Oopie.
So I'm glad I didn't
Now
watch
that
it.
you mentioned that Duke game, and this has been my soapbox. I jump on the soapbox every time, and all these announcers have been saying it. But this announcer, the way he said it, it really said, like, you know what? He's got a point. Because Malik Murphy, who was the quarterback for Duke, he went to Oregon State, and they put somebody in. I didn't write it down. I say I'm not wasting my time. The announcer said, everybody, Malik, math, blah, blah, blah. So he said, basically, with all these guys going to the portal, he said before the end of the season or whatever, end of the season, he said, so basically, what you're saying is the bowl games don't mean anything.
Mm.
I went, hey, you're right. That is the message you're sending. I'm getting the heck out of this school the minute that the thing's over. I don't care if I done fought to 8-2. Basically, the bowl games don't mean anything. Well,
Okay,
the
you
bowl
said
games don't mean anything. Why do we have them?
okay. You said
Let's
you
just go to
said
the playoffs.
Okay, you said basically 5 times in 30 seconds. So let me not let you
I
say
love
that
it.
word again.
I
Secondly,
love
you do get that impression, and that's the college football people. They need to, the NCAA, whoever, it's so many layers, but whoever it is, they need to uh rectify that, right? Because I keep going in my head back to what Saban said on Selection Sunday about having a bunch of inventory of good games, right? Now, I'm not saying we did not have some good bowl games this season. We
We
haven't.
did.
It's
We
not
did.
over. We have had some great games. However, you want a big inventory of good games because that's the product, right? People want to watch football. And
Right.
it's from Nick Saban. So it's not from somebody who you necessarily think is only saying it because of the dollars and things like that. Nick's been around with many changes with football. So I'm
Yep.
with you. I'm with you. And then I know the announcer said, he's like, yeah, the guy who got you all the way here to get in a bowl game is not going to have finished it with you. So we'll talk more about that though, because we got our opinions. And then I know you said you called a little bit of North Texas. That looked like it was a good game per
But
the
you know
score.
why? And hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even know who North Texas was. I'm
We
thinking, is
see
this
North
an
Texas.
FBS?
We watched them play somebody, Alabama or something.
I
They got
know we
beat
did.
real
I
bad,
can't
but
remember.
we
I
watched.
can't remember. So I went back and I did my little research. They are with the AAC. They were 6-7, and they played North Texas, which is with Mountain. What's it? What I say? Mountain West.
I said North
No,
Texas.
Sundown.
North
Sundown.
Texas
You
played
know?
North Texas.
Oh, I did write it down twice. Texas State. This year is not going well. Texas State. I am so sorry. They played
Okay,
Texas State.
Texas.
But here's the point.
Okay,
We're
North.
talking about the games. We're talking about
Okay, let's talk about her. So wait, North Texas played Texas State. Yes. Okay. 28-30. Okay. Good. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. So
Wait a minute. We've been talking about they put these people, these backup freshmen, cheerleaders, assistant coaches in to play in the vacancies. They put a kid in, 0 games. He hasn't played a game since freshman year. What I write down? Says freshman year. So they put him out there. It was first start.
What? He could have been a freshman last year. What was your freshman year? How many years ago? Last year, 2 years?
Freshman year. I'm sorry. Let me clarify that. Freshman year in high school.
Oh, wow.
But he came out and he ended up a hero.
Yeah, North Texas QB wows in first start since 9th grade.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, brave. But he came out. They battled, and I think it said they had like a minute 49 left. It was 30-28, and because Texas State was the champions last year, and they had a minute 48 left, but he got sick.
Champions of what?
I don't know, champions of what. I said the same thing. Or the bowl? What bowl did they play in last year? I don't know. But he got sick. He was on the sideline throwing up in a trash can.
Who?
But he came back out. The quarterback for
Drew Mestamaker.
Drew Mestamaker.
Now he is a freshman at North Texas, so he hasn't played since he was a freshman in high school, so about 3-4 years. Wow. Wow.
And that's who they were pulling. Kelly, really? They were pulling him out of their hat. But like I said, he made good. He had 12 seconds left. He threw an interception, and that was the game.
He played. He just hadn't started. He got into a few games this year. They're always hyping something up. Okay, we'll digress. Let's get to the meat and the potatoes, baby.
Okay, meat and potatoes.
Let's talk about the bowl games that are also now playoff games. Starting with the Boise State Penn State game played on New Year's Eve. Seeded number 3 Boise State because they won their conference championship, Mountain West, and seeded 6 Penn State from the Big Ten. Now, what bowl was that? I don't even think I know.
You know, I was it was New Year's Eve. They shouldn't have, first of all, they should have games on New Year's Eve.
So I was very. Let me tell you how I feel. Then I'll let you. Then I'll go to you. So I was very excited because 2 things. One, Penn State has a reputation where James Franklin can't win big games. Now, I don't know if I completely agree. I probably have said it, but I don't know if I completely agree. My thing was he could never beat Ohio State and he could never beat Michigan, right? And so I feel like he played round 1 against, don't tell me. Penn State played.
It
was last week, y'all. Come on. Wait. Hold tight. Get it together. I got this.
I'm glad you got it.
Play SMU.
That's okay. There you go.
So then today, Penn State is playing Boise State, and of course, everybody is looking at Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to contain Ashton Jeanty? And
yeah,
Penn State, they did. Penn State controlled that whole game.
Yeah.
Drew Aller was out there acting up. The defense looked great for Penn State. I don't know if I've ever said that. And I just think Boise State was, well, I said what I've been saying. Boise State, the quarterback did look good. I hadn't given him kudos this year. He looked like a good quarterback. Good. But these are the playoffs. You have to be great. And I kept saying, everybody said, oh, Ashton Jeanty. He should have, not everybody, I'm sorry. There has been topic. He said he should have won Heisman. The thing was, he's got, 5 million yards this year. He's the only thing they have on the team. He's the only thing they have on the team. Yes, he has all the rushing yards. There's no other rusher. There's no receivers. So I just thought that it was kind of inflated. Not taken away. I think Ashton Jeanty is a great player. We'll see him on Sunday, as the announcers say. But I just felt like they hyped it a bit much. And Penn State showed up and played lights out to me. Or played, they played solid football. Like I said, they controlled the whole game. What you see?
It was New Year's Eve. I didn't see much.
Wait. You watched the game. I know you took your little notes. Gee, what, you don't have nothing on the game?
I got Boise State, Penn State.
I already said that.
Oh, come on. You don't remember everything. It was last year. On the game. I do remember watching it though. I remember Ashton Genty running.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move to a game that happened this year for you, okay? Let's happen last year. What is she talking about, y'all? Okay. I will
Who's
say,
next?
I watched that game. I made one big note. There was a big miss pass interference that Penn State did on Boise State. But other than that, I did not see, and it technically for a lot of the games I got to watch and rewatch, I did not see a lot of missed calls. And
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say the same thing. There was another game where one of the announcers even said that could have went either way, but I think these referees are just letting them play. I'm like, thank you, just let them play.
Which wasn't the case though for and I'm talking playoff games. I felt like the officiating, which I never say, I feel like the officiating was really decent. But separate from, I caught some of that. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but nobody knows because our show got deleted. But South Carolina, Illinois, where them refs were, he was like they've been doing this all year. We ain't got caught, and they getting calls. And they were saying that, different conferences, different conference refs, sometimes some of those, because the rules aren't black and white, just like anything. And so sometimes they don't call, sometimes they do. And I thought that the officiating in that game was a little bit off, and how they kept letting that Illinois coach get away with the late substitutions. But we will move on to if that was a Fiesta Bowl, what was Texas and Arizona State? Which one?
Peach Bowl.
Oh, duh, it was in Atlanta. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. So again, seeded. Oh, I didn't write down. Did I write down the seedings?
5 and 4.
Thank you. Seeded 5 and seeded 5. Texas. Seeded 4 Arizona State, who won the Big 12 championship. Here's the other thing we should reminder. Maybe they should put both numbers up, because though that's where they were seeded, that is not how they finished the ranking. Texas was ranked number 3 and Arizona was ranked number 12. And I bring that up because when you see they are seeded 4 and 5, you're like, oh, it could go anybody's way. When you see they were ranked 3 and 12, you say, oh, Texas should have ran away with the game. And they didn't. Now, I did not watch this entire game because I was watching another game we'll talk about. But I tried to go and watch the replay. And I find it very interesting. It's the only game on ESPN I cannot watch the replay. It says there's something wrong with my internet. But when I go to another game, Ohio State game comes up, BYU Colorado comes up, that's the only game they would not give me the whole game to watch. So I end up going to YouTube and watching just watching the highlights. Now, I had seen the beginning and I got very upset because I said, oh, come on, Arizona State. 17-3 at halftime. I'm going to let y'all go. And I love Scatterboo for Arizona State. I love me some Scatterboo. I said, this is crazy. I got busy watching my other game. When I went and seen they went to 2 overtimes. How, Texas? How? They were up 24-3 or 24-. Like, what were we doing here?
Kelly.
Go.
Do you know?
It was 24-8 at the third quarter.
Do you know that Arizona State went ahead with a minute something left, 8 seconds to be a fact? They had them 4th, and I did not write this down, but they had them 4th and 14.
Yes. You blame Arizona. You blame Arizona State for that. But you know what? Arizona State fought back.
I do, because my God, that damn Quinn Ewers threw that ball right into his chest. And I'm like, what were you doing? And I think it was at Ohio State that the coaches were saying, they were telling the players on Ohio State, don't let them get behind you. Don't let them get behind you.
Yep.
He's standing at the goal line The guy runs around him and it's a back. He's standing there. There goes the ball. He's standing right there, catches it. Boom.
Now that was
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay,
Arizona
I gotta
had
go.
to win that
Okay,
game.
okay. I gotta go back and look because I wrote down that happened in overtime, but I think there was a third in something where what you're talking about happened, and it was like all you had to do was hold them. No, they would. It was third and something. It wasn't fourth down. Because I said, oh, well,
It might have been.
they still would have had another. Here, I'm gonna tell you right now. I said they would have still had another chance.
Mm.
And what about Texas with the 2 missed field goals?
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's how it happened. Because they didn't even get a touchdown. Arizona got a touchdown. There was an interception. Arizona got a touchdown. Texas had a missed field goal, a punt, and a missed field goal. I don't think that's the end of the fourth quarter. Texas blew the lead, not Arizona State. Now, in overtime, I wrote that down. Texas was 4th and 13 in the first overtime. And all they had to do, yep, 4th and 13. He threw it to Matthew Golden, who was his guy all year.
All day.
And he got the touchdown. That was on Arizona State. But other than that, the regular, the what's they call it?
The regular, the game in regulation time.
Regulation game. Oh, Arizona State club. Scatterboo threw the ball for a touchdown.
I seen that. I said, well, what was that? I thought Scatterboo caught it.
Oh, and then the other thing, and I know I always joke because when you have somebody like Scatterboo, you always bringing them up when traditionally the quarterback is the person you bring up all the time. But that daggone Sam Levitt, that guy was slippery. He made some big plays.
Never said die. And then, like you said, I'm thinking like, this game, I almost blew it off. And next thing I know, and so Scotty runs up here, my son, and says, wasn't that again something to 8? I said, yeah, now look at it. The 24-20. Never said die. Just kept chipping away and chipping away. That was a great game.
Yep. And then of course, the last play of the second overtime, Texas intercepts the ball right at the little goal line for the guy.
Yeah.
And Texas wins the game. And I said, Arizona State, you walk off that field with your head high. Because if I bring up the fact again, Texas was ranked number 3. You were ranked number 12.
That was a good. Exactly. I know. I'm just breathing.
Instant classic. That game was so good.
Instant classic.
Okay. And then if we move on to the granddaddy of them all.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Georgia.
No.
Right here.
No.
No.
No, listen. Open up your ears and close your mouth. No, we're not going to Notre Dame, Georgia. The granddaddy of them all. The granddaddy of them all is the Rose Bowl, baby. The Rose Bowl. And guess who was there? Who had 2 tickets to the Rose Bowl? This guy.
I had a lot of order.
This guy. So my son gets his tickets to the Rose Bowl, and we got him last minute. We thought we were gonna be in like some nosebleeds. We didn't care. We were going to the Rose Bowl. I've never seen Ohio State play live. They've been my team for as long as I can remember, and it was a show. Oh yeah. Rose Bowl. Yeah. Yeah. The granddaddy of them all, baby. The program. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Let's talk about the game.
Let me tell you my in-person. I'll let you go, and then I'll tell you my at-home version. And my camera's all locked and rocking. And sorry. In person, I remember 1 minute into the game, Jeremiah Smith gets that touchdown. I remember defense showing up. Billie Jean Queen was the coin toss officiator. You love Billie Jean. That's a Queen or King.
King, not Queen.
Billie Jean King was there. We got so hyped. You love Billie Jean King. You thought you were gonna beat her when you used to play tennis back in your day.
I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And we said that. We said, "Oh my God, Kiki will be so excited. She loves Billie Jean King." I remember Travion Henderson running for 66 yards because he ran towards where we were sitting. Our seats were great. There's not a bad seat in the Rose Bowl, people. And I remember being up 34-0. And then I remember Urban Meyer came on the screen, and we were all excited.
Yeah.
We were among a bunch of ducks. They were booing. It got very crazy, but we were right next to some other Ohio State fans, thank God. And they were like, "That's football royalty." Urban Meyer was on the screen, got hyped. Oh, I forgot to mention the freaking Death Star flew over us before the game started. Don't get me started on that. Like the U.S. Death Star, like, you know what I mean? They always fly over. I was looking for a little fighter bomber jet, and it was a freaking Black Panther freaking Wakanda plane. And then I remember the confetti coming out and the stage going up and just going crazy. So that was my experience in the stadium. You give me your experience watching the game. Go.
It was New Year's Day. I was a little late getting down to the game room. And I don't know why I was a little late because when I got down there, it was 14-0.
Yes.
I'm like, what's going on? What? And then I sat down and I guess I was a little in awe because I'm thinking it's going to be a battle to the death, baby. A battle. And I'm like you. The next thing I know, it's 34-0. And I went, where's the battle?
Yep.
Kelly,
Let's
one
talk.
question.
Yep.
As Kurt Herbstreit said, rest or rust?
Now put a pin in that because I have an opinion on that. But I would like to. I had to come home. I had capitalism, not the word. But Friday, I went to ESPN. I said, I have to watch this game. This was a great game. I have to watch it. It's always different when you in the stadium and, you know, a few of those podcasts have went down. And then when you go home to watch it. It was Ohio State, I already said, touchdown within 1 minute. Amazing. Abuka with that catch on the second touchdown with two people around him. Will Howard put it right here. Right into the end zone.
Did you see him? I held on to her shoulder. He held on to him just like this. He's moving.
Well, it moved, it bobbled, but he got control and was in the end zone.
He just held on to it.
I feel like, you know what? I feel lightheaded all over again. Where was this Ohio State team the last Saturday of November?
We said that in the Tennessee game. We didn't know what Ohio State is coming out. So that's why I felt, okay, we're going to battle. Because Ohio State going to come out, they're going to come out. Kelly, same Ohio State that beat the pants off Tennessee.
Yep.
Comes out and takes down number 1.
Undefeated.
Oregon. Well,
undefeated.
The first game was a good game, too. Only lost by 1 point.
Well, that was the beauty of this game to me, and I kept telling everybody at the game. Some fans were like nice. Some fans were a bit much. I was with a fan who was a bit much on the Ohio State side, so I was trying to keep the peace. But what quarter are y'all going home? I'm just like, we own the Rose Bowl, bro. Y'all or y'all just got y'all don't even have this in y'all. Like, Ohio State's a freaking dynasty, baby. Anyways, I told everybody. I didn't get too cocky. I want to stay humble. And I said, as long as it's a good game, because not just me and you, sportscasters, coaches, fans, everybody said, if there was one game this season where you could have kept watching for another 3 hours, it was that freaking Ohio State Oregon game. That was a good game. And I said, guess what? Win or lose, if we get, and I'm going to be honest with you, that Ohio State team is not the best Ohio State team we've seen all season. Remember that. And that's not just counting as Tennessee or whatever. I've seen Ohio State play way better, even before that game. Well, maybe not before that game there a little bit, but I've seen Ohio State play lights out this season. So that wasn't even our best game. So I said, okay, we're going to get better. There'd be no reason we should lose. We got that weird win over Nebraska. We lose to the biggest rivalry in sports. We're like, what the hell's going on? So when they come out, I'm like, we got a long way to go if we try to, you know what I mean, prove ourselves and make up the freaking blemish the last Saturday in November. Come out lights out against Tennessee. That's the Ohio State team we know was there the whole time. That's what's so frustrating. If the team was bad last year, I didn't have a bunch of high expectations last year, starting from the beginning. Once we seen how the quarterback was playing and how it just didn't feel right with Marvin Harrison, with Travion Henderson, with Ibuka, a lot of the same people, I didn't get my high hopes up because I said, it don't feel right. It don't feel right this year. And I can deal with that. This year felt different and I could not deal. They came out, Mom, freaking Will Howard, freaking Travion Henderson, them boys, like
Jeremiah Smith.
Defense?
Jeremiah Smith.
A freshman. Jeremiah Smith's a freshman, babes. A freshman. And guess what? Our boy Igmanosa, no penalties, babes. No PIs. Defense.
Boy, he was staying on it.
He
and
was.
I'll tell you something. You were saying the D, and I tried to write down what some of these guys really stepped up. Some of the guys have already been there. That Sawyer, somebody said, my God, he's trying to win the game all by himself. He's trying to take down something. I thought, oh my God. Then there was a guy named Simon.
Cody
then
Simon.
There was my big guy named
Tamalava. Yep, Tommy. Yep.
I don't want to run into him in the dark alley. I think they sacked at one time. They had sacked him 8 times.
They was killing them.
And I'm gonna give Oregon one kudo. They held Ohio State scoreless fourth quarter. I said, if y'all did anything, you didn't let them score fourth quarter.
Right.
And I thought, I wrote down.
But by then it was too little, too late. Like I think there was a third string defense guy was in there. Curry, he was in there in fourth quarter. I said I hoped Ryan Day did put some of the backups in. The other thing is, I don't know if you've seen when you watch the game, is they put the defensive line up, and out of maybe the 10 names they put up, 7 of them were fourth year, fifth year.
Wow.
These guys been there. They know what they're doing. They've been there. There was 2 people. Yeah, there was somebody. There was like a second and third. One person was second. Of course, Caleb Downs, who transferred from Alabama, right? And so he was in there, but he was a transfer. And there was somebody else who was like second year or third year. But those guys have been there. And I was watching the game, and they're like, oh man, we're gonna lose all these people. It's like Ohio State's never got a problem with defense. Jim Knowles doesn't play, baby. He does not play. They never have a problem with defense. Now, other thing was, the way they pressed Dylan Gabriel. They did not press him in the first game. And me and you went back and said, why didn't they go after him? That was weird. They didn't sack him once. They didn't even try to. They pressed him. He is fast. Watching it in person, watching him scramble to that sideline, he was, and of course, D-line people are big guys, but he is fast as heck. And the game was amazing. Ryan Day coached him more aggressively too. Remember, he said that. Tennessee game. You could tell we had more aggressive play calling. Why weren't you aggressive the last Saturday in November? Why aren't you always aggressive? Or at least when you get to losing, get aggressive. What are we talking about? And they let Will Howard throw that ball. And look what happened. It was 34-0 into the last minute of the second quarter, and Oregon finally got a touchdown, and they went for 2, and we went into halftime 34-8.
Okay. Yes, we did. I want to say, I was looking for Tez Johnson of Oregon.
He was there.
Because I know he was, but he was not. He didn't make any impact the way he did the first game. Mm-hmm. So on the site, I did rewatch the game, like you say. I had to rewatch it to see. And when I was rewatching it, they had him on the sideline, and they had a person, in front of him, because they said he had a neck injury.
He was checking him out, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a neck injury that might have affected his vertebrae. And I seen him come out again. He ran for short yardage, but I didn't see Tez Johnson much of the game. And I
He
thought,
was contained. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't get open, and he couldn't get the ball. Dylan couldn't throw the ball fast enough. And then of course they did lose. I think it's their only rusher, which is James. He got hurt early, and then somebody got hurt during warm-ups. I think he was another receiver. I didn't recognize the name, but they said, "Oh yeah, he got hurt during warm-ups." I'm like, "How'd you get hurt during warm-ups? What was you doing?" Anyway,
but
Mom.
anyway, one more. I know it was a great game, but I'm gonna tell you when you said something about the play calling, and I did watch a little bit of the press conference. Now, somebody asked me the same thing about, oh, this is a different Ohio State. Ryan Day said, and take this as you will. I thought Chip Kelly called a hell of a game. Oh, really? Who was calling the other games then? If Chip Kelly was calling a hell of an aggressive game, then, sir, who's calling that Michigan game? Who's calling that Nebraska game? I told you this before, and I may be wrong. Chip Kelly wasn't calling the plays. If he was sending plays in, and you can't tell me them boys just turned around overnight and just throwing like they ain't got no. You didn't. You heard it first. On
I'm gonna be
Saturday Night
quiet.
Over.
I think I can tell when it's a Chip Kelly play and when it's not because this is the last thing I say about it. But Chip Kelly was the head coach at UCLA. Of course, he knows the Rose Bowl. That's where UCLA is. That's their home stadium.
Yep. Yep.
Chip Kelly is Pac-12, what was formerly known as Pac-12, is all about offense, right? Hardly ever the defenses are top notch as far as nationally. They're all about offense, and they're all about yards, and they're all about throwing. So I can feel when Chip's calling a game and when maybe he's not calling the game. I have an idea. I say that. I have an idea. So I just want to say, light freaking out. I am proud of the game. And during the next game we're going to talk about, Georgia and Notre Dame, I know you're very excited. You got your shirt on. Your boy McLemore said something along the lines of, oh, are they still calling for Ryan Day to get fired? Listen.
I can't stand it.
This is family business, right?
I'm sorry.
Ohio State fans, when we are talking about firing Ryan Day or we talking about Kyle McCord last year, that is between us. We say it out loud, but that is between us. We don't need nobody else's fan base coming and asking or telling us how we feel and why we feel that way, right? It's family business. Mind your business. Now, I have said it. I said it at that game. I said it to anybody who will listen. I think Ryan Day is a fantastic coach. I know what it is to be the Ohio State coach. I know what it is to not beat that team up north. But Ohio State is Ryan Day is a fantastic coach. And after these last two games, I feel like he's earned a little bit more time to do what he has to do, be it they win a national championship or not. And they will. But besides that, who do you have that can be better? You don't have
I don't know.
So don't worry about us.
Unless we can get another Bill Belichick.
And do you want to Bill Belichick?
No.
As a fan, no, I don't. Hard pass. I'll pick it. I'm okay. Now, the Georgia Notre Dame game was supposed to be played on New Year's Day, but as we all know, it's been national, international news. There was an awful attack on the early hours of New Year's Day on Bourbon Street. That is just it's just ugly. It's bizarre. And I know we all are we over it, and I hate to say it, over it in the sense of it's BS, and you always find out it could have been prevented. And people are crazy. People have been crazy since the beginning of people. People gonna be crazy forever. People gonna do things we do not agree with, fine. But it just seems like every time you go back and you're like, oh wow, we could have did this, this, and this, and kind of mitigated some of that. Why didn't we? But I digress. Our hearts and love and energy go out to family members of the people who lost people
Yeah.
and the people who were hurt, and to the city of New Orleans. I love New Orleans. And
Well,
you just
the
yeah,
Super Bowl will be there.
you just put a yeah,
Think about it.
it's just such an ugly cloth. One day when we stop killing each other, we'll be able to fight against the stuff that kills us naturally, but until then, we're just
Yeah.
gonna
They
keep
don't.
population control. But man, God bless it. So they were delayed. And so they didn't get to
Yeah.
play until the January 2nd. And
Right.
so you go first. Tell me kind of what you was thinking going into the game.
Again, I thought it was gonna be a tight game because I done jumped on the Kirby Smart bandwagon,
Mhm.
but we have been saying that Georgia doesn't kind of look like Georgia,
Mhm.
but I thought Kirby's still gonna try to gonna pull all the stuff out of his hat.
Yep.
And I have to say one thing. Riley Leonard surprised me. I've seen Riley Leonard play, and I'm thinking, okay, he's a quarterback, he's pretty good, but this fool was running all over the place. I went, what? You're a quarterback? He would take off like
You see when he
a
did that
Patrick
cartwheel?
Mahomes.
Did you see when he did that cartwheel? He jumped over those people. I said, "Oh my God, he's gonna get hurt." So he gonna get hurt.
And I was amazed. And I tell you another thing too. And don't take me wrong. I always think Georgia as a beat 'em down school, and I always think of Notre Dame as highly elite.
Yes. Yeah.
Them boys came out there down and dirty. And hey, Marcus Freeman, and
Yep.
I tell you this someday because you and I talked about it, Marcus Freeman was pulling stuff out of his hat. And I went, good for you. Did you see when they were, you know how 2 or 3 players might run out, 2 or 3 players? That boy shifted his whole line off, another one ran in. Kirby Smart said, I can do that too. Kirby shifted the whole line out, 4 more guys ran in. What are you doing?
I love it.
Smart play.
I
Because
love
what happened was,
Now,
when they did snap the ball, Georgia jumped off sides, first down.
Yep.
Right.
And the thing was two things on that 2 things on that play. They were going for it. Everybody thought like, okay, they would wait to see if they jump off. No, he threw that ball before he knew they got that penalty. They were going for it, and he didn't catch it. So thank God for the penalty. Part 1, part 2, he was pulling out all the stops, and I love that because it's not something you probably were expecting from Marcus Freeman, but like you gotta be able to do what you gotta do. And other thing we didn't mention, which we didn't mention today, Georgia was not playing with their starting quarterback Carson Beck, who had a season-ending surgery, and so they
That
had
is true.
Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar Ham is for Texas. He's a receiver.
Gunnar Stockton.
Oh, who's Gunnar Ham? There's a
I
third
have no
Gunnar.
idea.
Anyway, Gunnar Henderson was the quarterback, and so we knew it was going to be a different game. It was going to be a different Georgia. But to me,
Yes.
I don't even think it was Gunnar Henderson that was like kind of, oh, well, he's no Carson Beck. I feel like on defense, how was Notre Dame getting past this Georgia State Georgia defense? Is it Georgia State? Whatever. Georgia defense.
No.
And Marcus Freeman said that at the end after the win when they was interviewing him, and he said, they always talk about the other team be tough. He was like, he said, I knew this was going to be a 60-minute game because that's the Georgia Bulldogs. And that's why they're the Georgia Bulldogs. And when he said that, I was like, that's a geeky line. They're the Georgia Bulldogs. That's why they're the Georgia Bulldogs. Everybody knows they have a reputation, and they should. And I said, I could not believe it. Notre Dame looked amazing. They looked good the whole game. They controlled the whole game. And I said, I'm with you. That Riley Leonard, he shocked me. Now remember, Riley Leonard came from Duke.
Yes, I know. I remember.
Last year.
Yep.
So,
but
go ahead.
But you know what got me, and I did not. Sometimes you're watching the game, you don't notice all of this. But Gunnar was doing his job, and they kept dropping on. They kept doing this. They kept doing that. And the announcer brought out nobody has more drop passes than Georgia. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Bell. I think Bell. Another drop pass from Bell. That's not the quarterback's fault.
He was throwing all over the place.
It was touching his
30,
hands. It touched his hands
36.
every time. Oh, I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed.
And I said, the boy's out there doing his job. Gunnar Stockton is not a bad quarterback.
No, he was 20 for 32. Quinn Ewers was 20
Not
for 30.
a bad quarterback. If you had caught one of them, they done dropped 36 passes this year. I'm like, maybe if you, or 36 drops, I don't know. If you had caught one of them,
Yes.
maybe the score wouldn't have looked so bad.
Exactly.
But it was
exactly.
23.
Yes. And then two things, and then I'm done with the game. Two things. One, you mentioned Riley Leonard, and when you look at who was the number one rusher for the, you know how we always talk about ESPN puts the number one passer, rusher, and receiver. Riley Leonard was the number one rusher of the entire game with 80 yards. He was not messing with y'all. Part one. Part two.
He didn't need the runners. He didn't need the runners. It was just Riley Leonard.
Exactly.
I was trying.
Exactly. Part two.
Ooh.
Bringing it back to not just this game, but Georgia. And I know me and you had a conversation this week, but I found it so interesting on game day, on New Year's Day. They were talking and they, of course, went to Georgia. And, of course, they get to go deeper because there's less games, so they can talk about players and all that. Freaking Kurt Herbstreit even said what we've been saying all year. He said, I don't know what it was. Something wasn't the same about Carson Beck this year. And he said, I don't know if it was the pressure without the weapons he had last year with like Lab McConkey and Bowers, who both are up for Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL this year. That's how great they are.
Right.
And he said something was not, he was like, and I, love Carson Beck. We hope he gets better and all that. He was like, but something went right this year. And I said, dear Kirk Herbstreit, watch the show. We said it. We said it all year.
I said to you, what's Carson Beck for 3 interceptions? Remember that game? I was like,
he threw three. He threw 3 all season last year and 3 in one game. You said it.
3 in one game.
You said it.
I'm telling you.
You said it. Something was not right. Something was different. And I talked to a Georgia, I talked to a Georgia fan. They were saying, he just thinks Carson Beck isn't as, like, he's a good quarterback, but he isn't as great as they thought for the last whatever year or two. But I'm just like, I don't know. And I gotta go back because maybe Carson Beck was only the starter that 1 year, and then he decided to come back. He decided to come back this year to win the national championship, but. Here we are. We have been talking for 53 minutes.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Fans, we are so sorry.
Why do you guys call fans? We don't have any fans. We like the only people who watch the show. I did tell some people about the Rose Bowl. They said they was going to subscribe, but they was also trying to drink. It was these 4 guys. One of them was a Oregon fan. The other one's just tagging along. One was a Michigan fan. Don't ask me why he was there in a Michigan jersey. But the 4 guys, they were going to drink 60 beers in one day. And they was up there. They was doing real good. They was up to like 43, 45, 46 when we seen them. That was before the game even started. So we met some characters. They was cool people, though. They was cool people. So I want to point this out. And then we will wait for Thursday. With this new 12-team playoffs.
Okay, here we go.
Everybody who played round 1 and got a home game won.
Right.
So if you got a home game, everybody who played at home won.
Okay.
For round 2, now this means the top 4 conference champions got a bye week.
Yes, they did.
They all lost. They all lost. And the 5th champion also lost. So the remaining 4 teams, none of them were their conference champions. And you said it earlier in the show. You said it earlier in the season. You said it 20 years ago. Rest or rust.
These bye weeks, I'm telling you. But I will tell you one thing Dan Lanning said on Oregon when somebody asked him that question. And did you think that bye week hurt you? I mean, not bye week. He said, did that layoff hurt you?
It was. Right? They called it the bye week.
Okay. He said, do you think that hurt you? And Dan Lanning said, no. That's an excuse. He said, we practiced just like everybody else. He said, they were just clicking today on all cylinders. He said, they were clicking and we weren't. He said, but that's an excuse. I went, okay. All right,
Good.
you heard it first. From
Good.
Oregon, number one in the nation.
Good.
It's an excuse. He said, they practiced just as hard as everybody else.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so what's the excuse?
Because you know what? When you say that, I think it is kind of a ding to the coach, though. Well, why wasn't your team ready? Too much time off. We don't. When they take time off, they're not sitting at the spa. You just doing practice.
They are practicing.
Yes.
He said, my team practiced just as hard as anybody else.
Yep.
You think Ohio State was not practicing? You think, yeah, they were playing a game, but his team was out, they were out there playing tiddlywinks in the pool hall.
Exactly.
Some boys were out in the field practicing.
Exactly.
So
I like that.
He said it's not a true.
I like
so
that. Well, I also love, and I know it won't happen like this every year, but being that this is the inaugural year, I kind of like it because it's kind of like it's anybody's game, and that's the beauty of the 12-team playoff. Great, you were undefeated all year. Now you're not. Great, you won your conference championship, SEC, Georgia. Great. Guess what? Things can happen. Florida State knows things can still happen because it's 14 to 12. Still can happen. And so now, Gee.
Yes.
We got 3 more games left. The next 2, one will be played on Thursday. That is Notre Dame versus Penn State. In the Capital One. Oh, forget Capital One. In the Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl.
They've got Notre Dame's the favorite by 2 points. And then on Friday, the 10th, we've got Ohio State versus Texas in the Cotton Bowl. Yes, I feel a way about the Cotton Bowl, but we won't worry about that right now. Of course, Ohio State is the favorite.
All right, who we going against Notre Dame? Who we got? Notre Dame, Penn State.
Now, I would like to mention that, this might be the seeding. That's okay. I am very excited about this matchup because I feel like I always confuse Notre Dame and Penn State as like a team identity.
I do
and
too.
So I'm very excited. I gotta go. I gotta go with Notre Dame. I got Notre Dame.
Okay. All right. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I kind of did too. And I went, should I go with them? Should I not? Because, Penn State is a hard hitting, blah, 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 blah. But I got to go with Notre Dame too.
Notre Dame. Now, I would like to point out that when we had a conversation, and then, of course, I'm going for Ohio State. Sarkisian himself, the head coach of Texas, said Ohio State is the best team left in this competition.
Okay.
And I'm sure you said us, but who cares about that part?
Okay, in the rankings, Penn State was 4, Notre Dame was 5.
That's not true. Oh, that can't be true.
In the rankings?
In the rankings. Yes. I'm sorry. I lied. You're right. No. You're right.
In the seeds, Penn State was 6, Notre Dame was 7.
You're right. My bad. You're right. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that was the seeds. The seeds were 6 and 7.
Yep. Yeah. Yep, I'm glad you brought that up. Now, the last thing I'll say is, a few weeks back on the show, I asked you, besides Ohio State, who would you want to win the national championship? And you said,
I think I said Oregon.
Now, you thought
Georgia?
You said Oregon. You said Oregon or Georgia? We got to go play the tape.
I said I'd like Georgia to win, but I think Oregon's going to take it.
Yes, you did.
Georgia gone, Oregon gone. And I think you said...
Of course, I think Ohio State's going all the way. But I said... No, I might have said... No, I did. I said... I said Notre Dame. Because Notre Dame has not been able to participate in a national title in forever because they don't have a conference.
Right.
And so I said, if it's not going to be Ohio State, Notre Dame. Now, if we end up being in this thing, it's Notre Dame, Ohio State. It's going to get ugly. It's going to be beautiful, and I love it. But we need to get out of here. We are at an hour. Hopefully, I can cut something back to the people. Oh.
Not so fast, my friend. You didn't ask me who's going to win between Texas and Ohio State.
Who you got between Texas and Ohio State?
I feel like Lee Corso on game day, when he puts on the big head, He puts on the big head. Ohio State, baby. all kinds, all kinds of hormone on me.
Oh my God. Who did that? Who set you up for that? Who did that? You know what? Okay.
Reading for you today.
We we
Because I
listen.
keep telling, I don't have an Ohio State hat.
We gotta get out of here. We gotta get
I
out
know
of
we do.
here. I cannot believe we talked an hour about 4 games, but that is just how it is when the football gets to flowing. I am Kelly like the color,
Hey, I'm Gee like the butter.
and this is Saturday Hangover. Like, subscribe. Don't copyright infringe us, people. We're not trying to steal. We're just trying to have a good time. And we're gonna see y'all. Hey, let's do it. Let's do Saturday Hangover on Saturday. The games will be done by then, babes.
Oh, Thursday, Friday. You are right. Let's do
Let's
a
do
real
Saturday.
Saturday hangover.
I'll see you on
You'll
Saturday
be
for
there.
Saturday Hangover.
Be here, be square. I might have